Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my dear beautiful girls? I hope you are in good health. Inshallah, today we are going to explain lesson 2 about the Abbasid Caliphs. Of course, in lesson 1, we ended talking about the Abbasid Caliphate in general. When did it start? How did it start? How did it come to an end? And how the Muslim civilization experienced a golden age during the 500 years of the rule of the Abbasids, so especially the first 200 years. Today, inshallah, we are going to talk about the Abbasid Caliphs, but in details. Let us start now. Our objectives or targets today is to study some of the Abbasid Caliphs and identify the achievements of several Abbasid Caliphs of the first era. And when I say era, I mean the first, a period of time, some years. Era means some years. Actually, the 500 years of the Abbasid Caliphate is divided into 4 eras or 4 periods of time. The first period or the first era or the first years were controlled by the powerful caliphs. So the first 100 year of the Abbasid Caliphate, the caliphs were the powerful caliphs, and that's why this era is titled the powerful caliphs. It continued from the year 749, the beginning of the Abbasid Caliphate, till the year 846 AD. It means for about 100 years. The second era or the second period was called the influence of the Turks. Start from the year 848 until the year 946 AD. Who are the Turks and how they influenced the Abbasid Caliphate? We are going to discuss this on time. This also talks about more 100 years. Of course, you know that during the first 200 years, the Muslim Caliphate experienced a golden age, and these 200 years were the best of the 500 years. The third era was called Al-Buhi age from the year 949 till the year 1075 AD, and we will discuss it on time. The last era which took the last few years of the Abbasid Caliphate, the Seljuk age, which continued from the year 1750 till the year 1258, in which the Mongols ended the Abbasid Caliphate when they invaded the Caliphate and sacked the city of Baghdad. Here we are going to focus on this era, the powerful caliphs. Actually, the powerful caliphs were 6. The first one was Caliph Abu al-Abbas. He was the brother of Ibrahim. He was called Abdullah, but he titled himself Abu al-Abbas al-Safah after he defeated the Umayyads in Azab battle and made himself the first Abbasid Caliph. Caliph Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, the next one. Third one, Caliph al-Mahdi. Fourth one, Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Number 5, Caliph al-Ma'mun. And the last one, Caliph al-Mu'tasim Billah. Al-Mu'tasim ibn Harun is another name for al-Mu'tasim Billah. These 6 caliphs were the most powerful caliphs, and their rule was the best of all the 500 years of the Abbasid Caliphate. Now, let us talk about them in more details. The Abbasids ruled just for over 500 years, and we know this information from last lesson. During that time, there were 37 caliphs. Can you imagine how big is this number? Of course, 37 caliphs over 500 years. The rule of the Abbasids can be divided into 4 eras, as we said before. The powerful caliphs are from the year 749 AD till the year 846 AD. It means for about 100 years. The influence of the Turks continued from the year 848 AD till the year 946 AD. Al-Buhi age from the year 946 AD till the year 1075 AD. Seljuk age from the year 1075 till the year 1258 AD. And of course, you know that the Caliph means Al-Khalifa, or the successor to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or even to Muhammad's eras. Eras mean periods in history which are special for some reason. They took some years and they are remarkable of some events. The caliphs of the first era established a government. They took great care to establish a government, and they encouraged the learning and the development that led to a golden age. So they were the reason for the golden age, because they did special things and they started to develop the caliphate in order to make it reach to the golden age. The last Abbasid caliph was Al-Musta'sim Billah. Again, the last caliph. This is very important. Of course, you know the first caliph was Abu al-Abbas. The last one who witnessed the invasion of the Mongols, and during his time the Abbasid Caliphate came to an end, was called Al-Musta'sim, and it's different from Al-Mu'tasim Billah. This is Al-Musta'sim Billah, who was killed when the Mongols invaded the Islamic State in the year 1258 AD. This was the last one of the Abbasid Caliphs, Al-Musta'sim Billah. Actually, he was unlucky. The Abbasids continued to make new coins. This is very remarkable about the Abbasids, because the Umayyads did not do that in gold called dinars. So the ones who started the dinars, the gold coins, were the Abbasids. Also later they made also coins in silver called the dirham. So the golden one was called the dinar, and the silver one was called the dirham. These coins were started or were made during the Abbasids era. Now we talked about some aspects of the Abbasid Caliphate generally. Now let us talk about each caliph in more details. Caliph Abu al-Abbas, the first one, he became caliph in the year 749 AD, and of course you know this year very remarkable. The Azab battle took place in this year. The end of the Umayyads was in this year. He was the one who led the armies of the Abbasids against the Umayyads, and they defeated the Umayyads in Azab battle. But he died in the year 754 AD. Let us see what did he do and what are the most remarkable things about him. He was born in the year 721 AD in a town called Al-Humayma in the South Levant, in the south part of the Islamic State. He led an army which defeated Marwan II ibn Muhammad, and Marwan II ibn Muhammad, as you know, was the last Umayyad Caliph. So who was the leader of the Azab battle? It was him, Abu al-Abbas, the first Umayyad Caliph. When Abu al-Abbas was chosen as Caliph, he spent some time consolidating the power of the Abbasids and rebuilding the caliphates. Consolidating means to make it more powerful, to enforce and reinforce the power of the Abbasids and rebuilding the caliphate. He reformed the army. He took great care of the army. He started to reform the army and encourage education. The first paper factory were set up during his rule. So who set up the first paper factory? Again, who set up the first paper factory in the Umayyads, in the Caliphate, in the Muslim Caliphate? It was him, Abu al-Abbas, the first Umayyad Caliph. You should give great care to some points as I refer and repeat here. When Abu al-Abbas died of a smallpox, so what was the reason for his death? He was sick of smallpox. His brother Abu Ja'far al-Mansur became the new caliph. So who was the next caliph? Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, after Abu al-Abbas, the first Abbasid caliph, died of smallpox. Can you see this picture? These are the ruins of Al-Humayma in Jordan, the village or the place in which Abu al-Abbas, the first Abbasid caliph, was born. So who became the next caliph after Abu al-Abbas died? His brother, Caliph Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. Again, he was who? He was his brother. Abu Ja'far al-Mansur became the next caliph after his brother Abu al-Abbas died. He ruled from the year 754, the year in which Abu al-Abbas died, till the year 775. I know that you are good at math. You can subtract this year minus this year in order to know how many years each caliph ruled. Again, he was born in 715 AD and he died in 775 AD. He moved the capital from Damascus to Al-Hishimiyya on the banks of the Tigris River. What is Al-Hishimiyya? This is a very old name for Iraq or for Baghdad. There he built a new residence for himself. A new residence means a new place to live in. And the Madinat as-Salam. So there in Al-Hishimiyya he built Madinat as-Salam, or the city of peace, which became known as Baghdad. So if I ask you who set up Baghdad, you should say that the Caliph Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. Abu Ja'far al-Mansur was the one who built Baghdad and moved the capital of the Caliphate from Damascus in Syria to Baghdad, or that was called the city of peace or Medina to Salam. Al-Hishamiya, a city in Al-Anbar, Iraq, built by first Abbasid Caliph as a capital of the Abbasid state. So Al-Hishamiya there was built in Hishamiya. Baghdad was built in Hishamiya. So Hishamiya is the old name for Baghdad. You can see some pictures here about them. They are very amusing. This is a modern picture for Baghdad. This is modern Baghdad today. So, what about Abu Ja'far al-Mansur? What else did he do beside building Baghdad and removing the capital of the Caliphate to it? He recognized the Caliphs' administration. He encouraged learning and education. He collected ancient manuscripts, and this is very important, on science, math, medicine, and astronomy. Astronomy, the science in which we study the planets, the moons, and the what happened in the outer space from older civilizations such as India, and translated them into Arabic. So Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, the important and the remarkable things that he did is building the city of Baghdad and making it the capital city of the Abbasid Caliphate, and also collecting the manuscripts on so many fields of information or knowledge from all the civilizations and translating them into Arabic in order to make it easier to be studied by the Arab scientists or by the Muslim scientists. And of course, you know that manuscripts are written books, because in the past, in the older civilizations, before printing was invented, they used it to record everything by hand. So and that's why they were called manuscripts. The books at that time were called manuscripts because they were written by hand. Okay, now let us go to this. This is an old map or Baghdad or Medina to Salam, which was started or was set up or was built by Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. So Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, the brother of Abu al-Abbas, next caliph, or the second caliph. The third caliph, Caliph al-Mahdi. Caliph al-Mahdi is the third one. He ruled from the year 775 AD till the year 785 AD. Of course, if every one of them start ruling in the same year the previous caliph died. During this time, or during his time, I mean the time of who? The time of who? Caliph al-Mahdi. During his time, what happened during the time of Caliph al-Mahdi? Baghdad became the biggest city in the world. So the one who started Baghdad was Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, the second Abbasid Caliph. The one who helped it to become the biggest city in the whole world was Caliph al-Mahdi. Emergence came from away places such as Al-Andalus and India. So people started to come to live in Baghdad from faraway places like Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus is Spain now, and India. Al-Mahdi improved the administration of the government. He improved the government and the way the government ruled. He appointed judges and continued to promote education. So all the caliphs gave a lot of care to education. He appointed judges and continued to promote education and learning. He made a major expansions to the mosques of Mecca and Medina. So who made expansions to the mosques of Mecca and Medina? Caliph al-Mahdi. So Caliph al-Mahdi helped Baghdad to be the biggest city. Also, he continued to give much care to education and learning. But the most remarkable thing for al-Mahdi is that he started to make expansions to the mosques of Mecca and Medina. It means that he helped to make the Holy Mosque in Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina bigger than they were. He expanded them. That was the third caliph. Let us take about Harun al-Rashid. Harun al-Rashid was the most remarkable caliph in the Abbasid Caliphate. Actually, anyone who even do not know a lot of information about the Muslim caliphs or the Muslim caliphates must know and must hear about Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Harun al-Rashid ruled from the year 786 till the year 809. His era was very, very, very remarkable, and he did so many great things. And that's why I uploaded a video about Harun al-Rashid in my class era. Let us talk about Harun al-Rashid. Actually, even the TV and the movies recorded that great Abbasid Caliph, and they made a lot of movies about him. He was born in Arai in 763. He ruled for 23 years. So the one who ruled for the most years was Harun al-Rashid. He is the son of al-Mahdi. So Caliph al-Mahdi's son was Harun al-Rashid. So from the 14th of September 786 till the 25th of March 809, that was his era. His mother is Al-Khayzuran. His mother was called Al-Khayzuran. He appointed God officials to administrator. So he gave a lot of care to the government of the administrations. He appointed good officials to the administration of the caliphate. His vizier or wazir or minister in our own language today was Yahya ibn Khalid ibn Barmak. Yahya ibn Khalid ibn Marmak. This is a great character or a great figure in the time of Harun al-Rashid. Harun was skilled diplomat. What's the meaning of diplomat? Look here. A person who manages relationships with other countries. So he was like an ambassador. He was good at dealing with people and leaders from other countries. He made alliances with the king of France at that time, the people who lived in France, Charlemagne, and sent him many gifts. That was the leader of the Franks who lived, the people of France, and he sent him many gifts. He won several important battles against the Byzantine army under the Emperor Irene. So the Byzantine Empire or the Roman Empire in Europe was still in strength, or was still strong. He won several battles against them. And that the emperor of the Byzantine Empire was Emperor Irene. He also imposed a yearly tax on the Byzantines. What you know what the meaning of yearly tax? Money that the Byzantines should pay every year for the Muslims. He took an interest in building military garrisons around cities in the state as well. What's the meaning of garrisons? Building or soldiers that defend a town. Building or soldiers like castles today. So can you see how many remarkable things did he do? He had good relations with the people or with the leaders outside. He waged many wars and entered in so many battles against the Byzantine Empire, and he won them all until he could impose and forced the Byzantines to pay money for the Muslims at a yearly tax. And he took many great interest to the army that protect the state or the Byzantine, the Muslim or the Abbasid state. And these garrisons are very important to protect the state from outside in order to be safe inside it from the Byzantine invasion or from any other invasion. That was Caliph Harun al-Rashid. He was a very, very, very remarkable one. Caliph al-Ma'mun. Actually, we are very near to reach the end. Caliph al-Ma'mun was born in the year 786 AD and he ruled until his death in the year 833 AD. His father, Harun al-Rashid, did not originally choose al-Ma'mun as his successor. Why? He appointed al-Ma'mun as a governor of Khurasan. So when Harun al-Rashid was alive and he was a caliph, he appointed his son al-Ma'mun to be the governor or the leader of Khurasan, which is now Iran and Pakistan, while his brother al-Amin became caliph. However, al-Ma'mun defeated his brother in battle and became caliph. Even the brothers were fighting to be the leaders or the caliphs. Al-Ma'mun fought against the Byzantine state as his father did. He also collected manuscripts of Greek philosophy and science and had brought them back to Baghdad, where they were translated into Arabic as Caliph al-Mahdi did before. He expected and improved the Baytul Hikmah. What's the meaning of Baytul Hikmah? His father started. Baytul Hikmah was a place that took great care or interest in science and education. During his rule, the first observations were built. What is the meaning of? Let us talk about Baytul Hikmah, a library in which scholars did translations and research, a place that in which books and research and the scientific researches are kept. He gave a lot of care for Baitul Hikmah, and he supported education and learning so much. So observations, what's the meaning of observations? Rooms that were with instruments for studying the skies, astronomy, to study the planets, the movement of the sun, and anything that happens in the outer space. So the first observations were built during which rule? During the rule of Al-Ma'mun, or the son of Harun al-Rashid. Caliph Al-Mu'tasim Billah, he was the last one of the powerful caliphs. Again, Al-Mu'tasim Billah was the last one of the Abbasid caliphs. Al-Mu'tasim was the son of Harun al-Rashid, the brother of Al-Ma'mun. And he was also known as Al-Mu'tasim ibn Harun. Al-Mu'tasim also encouraged learning. All of the Abbasid caliphs in the powerful era, all of them gave a lot of care for learning, education, and studying. He employed the great Arab mathematician Al-Kindi. What did Al-Kindi do? He was a very important great Arab mathematician. Al-Mu'tasim defeated the Byzantine army and conquered Amurai, a city in the Byzantine Empire in Europe. He built Samarra and stationed his troops there, which became the capital of the Caliphate. You remember? Samarra was chosen as a capital for the Caliphate during the time of Al-Mu'tasim Billah, the last of the powerful caliphs. He brought many Turkish soldiers to increase his army. Caliph Al-Mu'tasim is often remembered for an incident called Mu'tasimah, which earned him a great reputation. Reputation means he became so famous of Mu'tasim. And this is a very fantastic story. I will upload it on Classera. It is said that a woman was attacked by some people. She screamed and asked for help from Al-Mu'tasim. She just said, Wa Mu'tasimah. Once he heard the news of that woman, he led a great army just to protect that Muslim woman. And I will upload this story on Classera. The Byzantine army had invaded Malta and killed and captured many of the people living there. One woman screamed for help. So that was a woman from where? From Malta. Malta is an island in the Mediterranean Sea. The Byzantines attacked this island and they captured that woman for help. She shouted, Wa Mu'tasimah. When the Caliph heard about this woman, he put the cup of water that was drinking and decided to respond to her call and defeated the Byzantines, which he did. So, can you imagine? Just a woman screamed and asked for help. She was in an island in the Mediterranean Sea, and Al-Mu'tasim was in the city of Samarra, way in Iraq. Can you imagine this? Once he heard that there is a woman in one place in this world asking for his help, and she is begging him to help and protect her and protect her family, he just put the cup of water that she was drinking and he decided to lead an army just to protect this woman and respond for her call of help. Can you imagine this? This story made him so famous and gained him a lot of great reputation. That was the story of Wa Mu'tasimah, the call for help from a woman living in an island in the Mediterranean Sea. Caliph Al-Mu'tasim Billah. We are still talking about. No, this is Al-Mustasim, the end of all. The one. Actually, we have been talking about 6 powerful caliphs of the powerful eras. Now we are ending. We are going to skip all the eras and just go directly to the last Abbasid Caliph who ruled at the end of the 500 years of the Abbasid Caliphate. He was called Al-Mustasim Billah. You are going to ask why we skipped all this number. Actually, the number of the Abbasid Caliphs are so many. Can you imagine? We cannot study, and even you cannot study 37 caliphs. We are focused only on the 7 powerful caliphs or the 6 powerful caliphs, and then we are going to end our study about the Abbasid caliphs with the one that witnessed the end of the Abbasid Caliphate at the end of the 500 years of the Abbasid rule. And his name is very near to Al-Mu'tasim Billah. Wa Mu'tasima, this is another one. He ruled hundreds of years before Al-Musta'sim Billah. He ruled from the year 1242 AD till the year 1258, in which the Mongols invaded Baghdad and ended the Abbasid Caliphate. Al-Musta'sim Billah was the last Abbasid Caliph to rule the Islamic State. When the Mongol leader Holocan invaded the Caliphate, Al-Musta'sim surrendered, but he was later executed. Executed means they killed him. Hologa Khan destroyed most of Baghdad in this year, and the Islamic State was without a caliph for the first time in history, because the caliph, after he surrendered, and of course you do not know what's the meaning of surrender. Surrender means to say, to go to the enemy and say, I'm not going to fight, I surrender, because actually the Mongols were very fierce fighters. And they did not keep a word. After he surrendered, they executed him, they killed him. Hologu Khan destroyed most of Baghdad in this year, and the Islamic State was without a caliph for the first time in history. It was a bad end for the powerful Islamic State and the powerful rule of the Abbasids. Actually, here in this point, there are some videos about the Mongols that you should watch in order to understand how can a caliphate so powerful like the Abbasid Caliphate to come to an end like that. You should watch the video about the Mongols on the class era, and you will understand more what happened and how the Caliphate of the Abbasids came to an end in such a way. This is the end of the Abbasid Caliphate and how it came to an end. We discussed the main points. I know the lesson is full of details, but I'm sure that you are smart and clever girls. You can write down the most remarkable things that make every caliph very remarkable. Just write them like notes and study them all. Read and understand the lesson as if it is a reading story with about 7 characters. You should know about each character, but the characters here are not heroes or heroines as you know in the study of reading in English, but these are caliphs. 6 are powerful ones, and the last one, Al-Musta'sim Billah, who surrendered and then was killed by the Mongols, and he witnessed the end of the Abbasid Caliphate. Thanks for your listening, and goodbye till we meet again.